Nearly everyone in the Terraria community has seen Chief Logan's popular series where he beats Calamity from one block. The entire world consists of one block of infernal swayvite with a Hellforge placed on top. I immediately became super fascinated with this challenge, and I love Calamity, so I asked myself, can I beat Calamity one block with one life? Let's say you fall into the void. Most players wouldn't think twice, save and exit, load the player back up, and boom, back at spawn. This brings me to the most important rule of the run. No save and exits to avoid death or deadly situations. I would also like to note that 90% of this playthrough happened after the Calamity update that essentially nerfed one block. Also, this entire playthrough took place before the Brainstorm update, so definitely check the source material before using my video as a reference. And with that, let's begin this journey. Immediately upon spawning into the world, we open our starter bag, and we get the 2 items needed to make this even possible. The first one being the 50 rope, needed to get off screen far enough for mobs to begin to spawn in our one block. And the second item, and I'm sure you've guessed it by now, is the 3 recall potions provided in the starter bag. Without these recall potions, my hardcore run isn't even possible. So after killing enough Wolfram enemies to make Wolfram knives from the scrap, I begin to rope to the left off screen far enough to get ore slimes to spawn. Any slime has a 1 in 32 chance to contain a certain type of pre-Hardmode ore. So the idea is I chase an ore slime into the void, kill it with the Wolfram knife, collect the ore, and then recall back to my one block. From there we can begin to expand. I won't be showcasing all the failed attempts. This took over 10 worlds in 3 hours before we were able to get our first ore slime that we could actually kill and catch the ore mid-air in the void. We surprisingly get very lucky and get 9 lead ore from our first slime. Yes, 9 lead ore is actually a high roll on the drop count. So from there I can expand my surface to try to get extra rope and ore before we go down into the caverns to start farming other enemies. My first accessory, not great, but it's something. Wow, we got a rover drive, nice. All in all, it wasn't a bad looting session. I was able to get 2 accessories, one of them being the rover drive, as well as 3 tungsten ore. This should be enough to get us started farming in the caverns. So we rope our way down to the cavern lair. The hope is that I get a skeleton merchant to spawn so that I can get rope to have access to the surface and the underworld, as well as buying calcium potions so that way I have fall damage immunity so I don't have to use my recalls. So the idea is pretty simple. I continue to farm mobs to get more ore slimes to begin to spawn so that I can expand. The more I expand, the more room there is for other mobs to spawn. The goal is to get undead miners to begin to spawn so that I can get the mining set. Even though it was nerfed, it's still a necessity to be able to duplicate infernal swayvite later on in the run. So after many hours of grinding, I get the mining shirt. Now I just need to get the headpiece and we're chilling. The good thing about farming in the caverns is I can always get extra recalls from slime, so that's a plus. Another pretty good drop that I get is a bone pickaxe, which is always nice. So after hours and hours of grinding, we finally got the full mining set. Remember when I said at the beginning of the video that 90% of this run happened after the Calamity One Block nerf? So everything you're seeing now leading up to getting my first slime rain is before the nerf. So I was able to duplicate ore in all its glory. The mining set still works, but it has a much longer cooldown. So now starts the farming session in the underworld. The 2 best weapons available to me right now is the Blade Crest Oath Sword and the Old One's Claymore. There's not many ways you can actually start a one block run. It's pretty straightforward and it's going to follow the same progression. So if you're thinking this looks almost identical to Chief Logan's run, well that's because for the most part right now it is. But I would like to take a minute just to give Chief Logan a big shout out for even finding out the tech and doing the research needed for people to find out that one block is even possible. And I wouldn't have been able to do this without his super informational videos. But I promise you that later on in my run, it does become very authentic to me in the way that I play Terraria. So while pretty much getting everything my world had to offer up to this point, I was basically ready for a slime rain. Based off my current restrictions, a slime rain occurring is closer to around 2%. And this was easily the worst part of the run. Just sitting here waiting on a slime rain to happen. And to be honest, I had gotten so bored, I ended up just deciding to walk away from the run entirely. Until... What, y'all thought I was just gonna give up that easy? Hell nah. So while working on other projects, I decided to start AFKing in the world again while waiting on a slime rain. It had to happen eventually, and when it did, I knew we would make good progress. Coincidentally, in my time away from the run is when Calamity decided to fix how the mining armor set bonus worked, as well as nerf the biome-specific Calamity fishing crates and the drops provided to them. This would drastically alter the progression of our run. But it's nothing that I didn't think we can get past. It was just going to take more work and more grinding to achieve our goal. So after a very long time of AFKing in the world, it happened. So if you're wondering why I'm sitting in a little box in the air, so it's not only that King Slime can't reach me, it's that the crystal cannot hit me through tiles during phase 2. As long as I don't mess this up, this is going to open up progression for us so much. It's going to be like an entirely different game. All right, nice. Here we go, adrenaline. This is huge. This might end it right here. Not quite. All right, with King Slime down, we can finally start to make some more progress. The first order of business is to get some NPC housing up. Nice, we got the slimy saddle. That's gonna let me go through the void much faster. All right, so with the solidifier, I can make slime blocks from gel. Slime blocks are used to make a workbench, tables, chairs, walls, and everything we need for NPC housing. So I guess while I wait for NPCs, I just start bridging out towards the sulfuric sea. Yeah. While a part of me is excited to fish for life crystals and loot, the other part of me knows that it is going to be a grind. But it's gotta be done. Before I begin to bridge out to the sulfuric sea, I decided to come down to hell. Calamity added a config that allows you to turn off or on the ability for lava slimes to drop lava. So we turn it on so that I can get enough lava for a lava bucket. Since I don't have water, this is the only way I can fish. I also come back to the caverns to get some worms so that I can get enchanted night crawlers. So once I get to the sulfuric sea, something embarrassing happens. I do get the thrasher to kill the angler to get the golden fishing rod, but then I fall off the platform to avoid taking damage. The thrashers can one-shot me, I think, at 100 HP, so I have to fall off the platform to avoid dying. I don't have enough recalls to burn one, so I pretty much just have to fall all the way down in the void to the bottom, run all the way back to the center of the world, and then rope back up and then run back across. So I can't use a pylon here yet until I get enough sulfuric sand to make it a legitimate biome, but I decided to build some housing anyway and put the angler here. So this brings me to the only bug and the only unintended mechanic in the entire playthrough, lava fishing. With enough lava placed one tile high on the surface, I can trick the game into thinking that this is water. Fishing will grant us a lot of new accessories, and along with the occasional fishing quest is the most important item I need to survive in the entire run, life crystals. I came away with a successful whole day 1 of fishing. Along with getting a life crystal, I was able to get some sailfish boots, a double jump, abyssal amulet, and a luring bait, which is huge. I was also able to get enough sulfuric sand to make this a functioning pylon. Now I can travel back and forth, which will make my fishing grind much easier. So the main focus now is to work on fishing quests. The more fishing quests I do, the higher fishing power I can obtain, which will lead to a lot less overall grinding. And for the unforeseeable future, my life consists of doing fishing quests, killing NPCs to get gravestones to make an artificial graveyard biome to get blood orbs, doing more fishing quests, consuming life crystals to get more HP, and completely wasting my time making a graveyard biome by getting a blood moon anyway. After the blood moon, I was able to get 2 more life crystals almost immediately back to back. 1 more life crystal and we'll be full HP. I also found that since the mining set had a longer cooldown between getting ore, it was just faster to get ore and bars from crates. So tonight's the night. I am very over prepared for Akatulu. This should not be a problem. I guess if things start to go really bad, I could just fall into the void, but I really don't think that's going to be necessary. Yeah, with the accessories we have, he does very little damage to me. And the Old Lord's Claymore is just so good for this fight. On a side note, originally I had planned on streaming this entire playthrough, but after realizing how much grinding I had to do, I realized that I did not ever want to do this again, so I decided to do it off stream. Yeah, I think this is just a GG's. And with eye down, the Dryad can spawn, which is huge. So with the Dryad spawning in, now I can buy acorns. Acorns can be planted on sulfuric sand to get acid wood trees, which fall into the anti-wood recipes, which allows me to make the goblin battle standard and get my first goblin event. Hey, what's up, bro? What's going on? Let me get rocket boots and a tinker's workshop. Thank you. Using my newly found source of wood, lead ore and silver ore that I duplicated early on, and gems that I got from gem crawlers in the caverns, I was finally able to make magic storage. I also continue to do fishing quests, made a green horseshoe balloon using a fart in a bottle that I was able to craft, along with some amphibian boots to go with it. And luckily, not long after this, I was able to get my last life crystal. Now I'm at full HP. All right, let's do this. I haven't done this fight in so long, but I was doing it on Master Death back in the day, so this should be fine. Nice, we got some adrenaline. Nice, we got a rage. Oh, all right, we're chilling, we're chilling, we're chilling. Oh, I know this is bad. Bad. Oh no, yeah, I had to recall there. That was almost tragic. 58 HP. If I would have gotten hit again, it would have been a GG's. So I take a break from Skeletron to do something very important that I absolutely can't forget. Astral Meteor preparation. So to start, you want to be about 2 or 3 screens away from where the old man spawns. I do 2 wings about 80 by 6 deep for the monolith to spawn, and 1500 ore in the middle for the meteor to crash into. It can be any ore, it really doesn't matter. You also need to start at level surface, and this is pretty much what it should look like when you're completely done with it. This is the way I did it, and I didn't have any issues. Then I go back for round 2 with Skeletron. After seeing him once the first time, I felt way more confident in my second go around, especially with all my previous experience. Having limited movement, I knew I just needed to rely more on the Old Lord's Claymore. All right, here we go. Got a Ripper, love it. But yeah, we're doing a lot more damage now. All right, phase 2. Hands respawned, we're chilling. Nice, another Ripper. What? Aw, bro, come on, dude. All right, now the crazy part. GG's. Killing Skeletron really doesn't grant me anything useful because, well, there's no dungeon. But it just wouldn't feel right going into hard mode without killing Skeletron. So I began preparations for Wall of Flesh, starting with the arena. This took me hours to build because the top and bottoms need to be 2 tiles thick, and I want 2 platforms in the middle for optimal movement. I also make this about half the length of my world because I just want to be completely prepared. I only have 1 shot at Wall of Flesh and I cannot mess this up. But there's a few more things I need to do first before I'm ready. The first one is building an herb farm for when I'm able to make potions. The next one is to get the most important item that I've been grinding quests for, the lava-proof fishing hook. It might not seem that special to some, but not only does this allow me to fish in lava, it allows me to get a very, very important item in pre-hard mode, wet bombs. With wet bombs, I no longer have to trick the game into thinking I'm fishing in water. Now I can just straight up fish in it. Most importantly, now I can begin to make potions, which was the main thing I wanted before I fought Wall of Flesh. Alright, let's do this. The Kylie boomerang purchased from the bandit with sulfuric armor did exceptional damage to Wall of Flesh. Alright, we can't mess this up. Here we go. Ripper, nice. Beautiful. Nice adrenaline there. Alright, here come the size. 1, 2. Oh, come on, man. Alright, we got another Ripper coming up. Huge damage. Nice. Oh yeah, I think that's it. That's gonna be a GG's. Oh yeah, that's a GG's. Wow, that was way easier than I thought it was gonna be. We over prepared. A star has fallen from the heavens. I wonder what that could be. I really hope we did this right. I hope I didn't mess it up. All right, we got the meteor. But did we get the monolith? We got the monolith. Yes, yes. I'm so glad that we didn't mess that up. All right, this is huge. So the tech that was discovered by somebody in Chief Logan's community is that every astral monolith has 8 astral dirt that spawn with the monolith. And while 8 dirt on its own is great, the tech is that every time I beat Astrum Aureus, a new monolith spawns with 8 more astral dirt. So the goal is to beat him enough times to get enough dirt for a dirt bomb, and from there, we could really expand and make new biomes. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We are not ready for Astrum Aureus. So one of the first things I do is I farm astral enemies so I can make the Titan armor. It provides a decent amount of defense and knockback immunity, and probably the best armor we can get directly into hard mode. At least until I can get Palladium. Then we come back to the Sulfuric Sea for a short fishing session. Pretty much all of the Calamity drops were removed from crates except for hydrothermal crates, which is the hard mode variant of the sulfuric crate. The hydrothermal crates contain post-Skeletron Abyss chest loot, and the main one I'm looking for is called the Torrential Tier. It allows me to turn off and on the rain whenever I want. The next thing I do is take my 8 dirt and place some hollow seeds on it so I can start to farm pixies for pixie dust. With that, I can make fairy wings, which will be my first set of hard mode wings, as well as giving me an extra 60 HP. There's not too many rogue weapons at this point in progression, so I take my corrupt seeds into the caverns and farm cavern enemies so I can get a weapon called the Cursed Dagger, as well as getting rotten chunks for battle potions and some extra cursed flames for other accessories that I need along the way. Since I don't have Shimmer, I have to refight Wall of Flesh every time I need a new emblem. So we reform them a few times so I can get all the different emblems, as well as getting the Blackhawk remote, so I can apply debuffs with various ammo types. I get a mechanical eye spawner while farming, so I decided to give him a shot. I wanted to see how viable this rogue loadout could be, because I really didn't want to have to continue to fish for Palladium armor, as well as farming for a weapon like the Storm Saber with such a low drop rate. Knowing I would be under geared for pretty much all these fights, I try to use the Void to the best of my advantage and bring them all the way down to the top of my Waff Arena, while dealing pretty much no damage since the eyes are separated. This fight would probably be better with more weapon variety, but in Calamity One Block, Rogue ain't it. Yeah, that's an unfortunate recall. So I reluctantly farm for arguably the best pre-boss hard mode weapon, the Storm Saber. It's homing, melee, and deals a pretty decent amount of damage, as well as grind fishing to get enough Palladium to make the armor set, which is going to give me a substantial amount of life regeneration. I also decided to go for a slightly more defensive build just because it's not worth risking it in my opinion. I have too much at stake. Alright, here we go. Round 2. Let's see how I do with the Storm Saber. I definitely need to take out Spaz first, in my opinion. See if I could use the Void to my advantage again. Nice, Adrenaline. And Rage, let's go. Okay, Spaz is so close now. This is so much easier with the Storm Saber. Okay, Spaz is down huge. Alright, now I just got red. That was honestly too close for comfort, but twins are down and time to move on to the next mech. But before I could even get a chance to catch my breath, I got a Solar Eclipse, which honestly wasn't too bad because I was able to get a Moonstone as well as a Neptune Shell. 2 things I need to make the Moon Shell, which I'm gonna need later on anyway. Okay, bro, here we go. Big worm. Easy worm. Easy boss. Yo, thank God for Heart Reach. For y'all who didn't know, Heart Reach is a goat, because the probes drop hearts. Keep healing me. Oh yeah, we're chilling. Yeah, big ripper. Here we go. Nice. And Rage. Let's go. Hey, it was an easy fight. We got this. I feel very underpowered though. This fight's been taking a long time. This should do it. Oh no. Oh yeah, he's down. We're good. I decided to take a break from the mechs and wait on a very long natural aquatic scourge spawn. In the near future, I will need a high level of underwater breathing, so getting the aquatic emblem, which is 100% drop from aquatic scourge, is essential. Plus, he can drop some pretty decent weapons, but the main thing I want is the emblem. I can also get tier 2 acid rain, which is a pretty decent event. I can get a few items from that, nothing that I really need or particularly want, but I'd like to have the option to do so if I want it. Alright, here we go. Nice adrenaline. I used to do this fight on freaking Master Death on hardcore pre-hard mode with the Scab Ripper. The Scab Ripper is crazy for this boss. Too bad I can't get it in this world. I kind of wouldn't mind getting the Deep Sea Staff, but mainly just the emblem. Yeah, I think that's gonna be a GG's. And with Scourge down, I can move on to the last mech, Skeletron Prime. I honestly felt like my firepower was a little bit weak for the first two mechs, and there's something that I completely overlooked. Alcohols. Alcohols in Calamity can give you some insane buffs, but we're very limited in which ones we can get. And of the alcohols I could make, I noticed that Fireball multiplied all fire-based debuff damage by 1.25. So I decided to pair that with the Hellfire Treads that would multiply my debuff damage even further to 1.75, along with the Abaddon. A drop from Red Devils when you're post one mech that gives 8% to crit, as well as igniting your enemy with Brimstone Flames. So let's see how this fire-based debuff damage build will fare against Skeletron Prime. If you're wondering why I'm still using Storm Saber, well really this is the best weapon that I can get up to this point. You have to remember that they removed Hellstone from Brimstone crates. So for me that puts Brimstone Elemental and Calamitous Clone post Moonlord, which makes my arsenal very limited, for now at least. Honestly, the Brimflame explosions and the extra debuff damage felt exceptionally strong. Obviously, the most fun part of One Block has been figuring out how to progress next. But for me, the other side of that has been using loadouts that I wouldn't usually use. Because for the most part, no matter at what point in progression, we're gonna be underpowered. So having to match accessories and alcohols to try to min-max my damage as best as possible is something I usually would have never done, and it's actually been a lot of fun doing it. Waiting until all three mechs are down to open up the treasure bags guarantees hollow bars from every bag. So I craft a set of hollowed armor which should provide more damage and defense as well as a holy dodge. I also craft a pickaxe axe because, well, I really don't know why, I just wanted to make a better pickaxe. As well as a mechanical glove to give me a pretty decent damage boost. Alright, let's do this. I got this easy, dude. I used to do this in Master Death mode. I got this. The trick is just stay close to the boss. When he jumps and comes down, just dash, jump, dash, jump. Easy. And when he spawns the ads, you need to take out the ads as fast as possible. You do not want them alive when he starts to dash at you again. Alright, we're chilling. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Good, I almost got to heal up though. Alright, this is bad. You do not want to go in there like this. This is when he kills you. This is when he hurts you. Oh no 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 no. Oh, alright. Alright, I gotta heal, but I'm still one shot. Please, bro, please. Die right here. Just die. Come on, dude. So this was a very stressful fight, but we come away with the win, and we get another star from the heavens, so let's go check it out. On top of him dropping my first and only adrenaline upgrade, I get a pretty decent mage weapon, so I think it's time to switch classes, but there's a few things I need to do first. Alright, so let's make sure everything went right, and we got another monolith. Nice. So I collect my 8 additional dirt, bringing my total to 16 now. as well as get the monolith ready for the next time we kill Astrum Aureus, which will bring my total up to 24. After Astrum Aureus has been defeated, underground astral enemies begin to drop better items. So I take my astral dirt and I make a small farm right below my astral biome. I'm looking for 2 weapons in particular. One is called the Astral Acnea Staff, which is a mage weapon, and the other is a sentry called the Hive Pod. And I get lucky and get them both in one go. I don't have enough hollow bars for the mage headpiece, so I have to farm Destroyer one more time, but I should be able to make quick work of them with my newly obtained Astral Scythe. Wow, for once I actually feel overpowered. This is crazy. Feels really good. Oh yeah. Dude, I don't know why I've never used Astral Scythe in a normal playthrough. Actually a pretty good weapon. Oh yeah, that's it. Alright, very nice. Unfortunately, I can't upgrade my mana because meteorite bars were removed from Astral Crates, but I do make a hollowed mage headpiece and a mana cloak for reduced mana usage and automatically consuming mana pots. Alright, this should actually feel like a fair fight now. Let's do this. Oh yeah, dude, the Astral Acne Staff is so good. I love this weapon. Nice adrenaline, let's go. Oh yeah, we got this easy. Nice. Wow. Wow, he does a lot of damage still. And after nearly dying to him during the 3rd fight, we rushed the 4th fight to get all the dirt we need to start making biomes. And this fight actually went surprisingly smooth. I did get a little over ambitious because I forgot to do something very important between the 3rd and 4th fights. I forgot to mine out and tear down the 3rd monolith before I fought him the 4th time. But luckily, a 2nd monolith spawned next to the 1st. And I was able to get the 1 extra dirt I needed to have the 25 dirt required for a dirt bomb. A dirt bomb costs 25 dirt to make, and if done correctly can yield up to 57 dirt per bomb. With this, we can multiply dirt, get mud, and we can make a lot of new biomes. The first one I make is a hollow biome. With it, I'll be able to start fishing for prismites for life force potions, as well as divine crates to get crystal shards and souls of light. I also set up a fishing pond in the underground that'll be used for crimson and corruption fishing to get wrath potions as well as rage potions, as well as building a surface level mushroom biome to get the truffle NPC to spawn, as well as just having an extra pylon point. Since I refused to duplicate Crimtane ore with the mining armor, I decided to wait to upgrade my magic storage until I could fight perforators. Perforators drops Crimtane bars as well as vertebrae and ichor in Hardmode, which could prove to be very useful. And the one I've been most excited to make so far is the jungle biome. You start with some mud blocks with some platforms underneath to stop the vines from growing. You place down crimson seeds, and then you purify the crimson with green solution and make it jungle. And now I have a legitimate jungle biome for life fruit as well as Plantera bulbs to spawn. But I'm not done yet because most importantly, how am I going to fight Plantera without an arena? So I make a very modest jungle mud block box with a platform in the middle. And all we need to do now is wait on a Plantera bulb to spawn. I get pretty lucky with a moth dropping some butterfly dust, so I decided to make the butterfly wings, which would be a nice upgrade for my flame wings. Alright, very nice. And slowly collect life fruit to increase my max HP. It was at this point that it dawned on me that Calamity adds a spawner for Plantera called the Porta Bulb, so I won't have to wait on a bulb every time I want to refarm Plantera. Oh wow. Yeah, we do a lot of damage. We're actually overpowered for this fight. This feels amazing. This fight's really not that hard, by the way. Yeah, well, we're destroying her. This is very easy. She doesn't stand a chance. I would like to get adrenaline at least once in this fight. Alright, she spawned the vines again. Alright, there we go, adrenaline. That should be a GG's. Yep. Dead already. Wow. Nice. And while I have my potions up, I decide to farm her again. I'd like to get extra living shards because later on we're going to need a lot more life fruit, which is craftable in Calamity. And I'd also like to get the wasp gun, which is a pretty OP mage weapon. I don't get it on my first and second attempt, but I decide to max out my HP before I continue to refarm. I really hope she drops it this time. I don't want to have to keep refarming this boss. Alright, let's see what I got. Is this it on the ground? Nice. Nice, we got it. So with Plantera down, there's really not a whole lot we can do as far as bosses. Golem is completely off the table, and we could fight Dukefish on an Empress, but I do feel a little bit underpowered right now. So I decided to start prepping for Cultist. And the first thing I'm going to have to do is make a Layer 2 Abyss. So after making a large body of water between the underground and cavern level, I placed down a lot of planting mush that I got from fishing in the sulfuric sea. But with just my luck, it didn't work. I was either a little bit high or a little bit too low. So I tried to go a little bit lower. I was right at the cavern level, and I figured if I was going to go at any height, it would need to be a little bit lower than higher. Luckily, I already have all my water, so all I need to do is drain one pool into the other. Alright, let's see. Oh yeah, it works. Breathing in air pockets in the abyss at any level causes you to lose HP at a rapid rate. In layer 2, it'll only bring you to 100 HP, but still something I don't feel comfortable being at while farming. So I make sure I'm high enough for mobs to still spawn on the bottom while staying submerged in water. So the reason I'm farming in the layer 2 abyss is to get Voidstone, which is a drop from a mob called Luminous Corvina. And Voidstone is the block needed to make an artificial layer 3 and layer 4 abyss at the lowest level of the cavern, so that's where we're headed next. This was definitely the sketchiest and most terrifying part of the entire run. Remember earlier when I talked about getting the aquatic emblem as well as the moon shell? How I would need those things later on? It was for this moment. See, where the issue lies is that if we run out of breath in the abyss, we'll probably insta-die at lower levels. So my idea is that I can lower the layer 4 enemies up to higher elevations to get out of the low pressure of the abyss. I need to take my time and be super careful while farming mobs down here. Alright, I just need to place down all my Voidstone. As soon as I get the breath loss, I need to TP away. Get ready. Oh, there we go. It's working now. Yeah, the Voidstone hurts you when you touch it when it's legitimate. Alright, let's see if this is working. Oh, yeah, we're spawning. Can I go up here and breathe? Nice, I can breathe. So I can get the mobs from down there and then bring them back up here where I can breathe. Yeah, this will be good. So because we can't fight Golem, I have to kill Idealists in the layer 3 and layer 4 of the Abyss. The first thing I need from them that they drop is Ectoplasm when you're post-Plantera. Being that we have no dungeon, this is my only source. The other thing they drop is the Eidolon Tablet used to summon Lunatic Cultist. And those are probably one of the least dangerous mobs. There's mobs down here that are very dangerous that I need to avoid at all costs. Also, utilizing my return potions is very important. There was a few sketchy situations where I got myself in a little bit of a dilemma, but nothing that I couldn't just TP away from. I already had a tablet, so I really just wanted to farm a little bit more ectoplasm because I really never wanted to come back here. And if you're wondering why you'll see me wearing a hollowed armor from this point on, because I found that mining and duping chlorophyte with the mining armor and also waiting on it to grow just wasn't worth it. The offense provided plus the holy dodge I think gives me more than enough capabilities to finish out pre-Moonlord. So I decide I'm ready to take on Cultist. I get my potions together and the last thing I do is go ahead and make a blood orange for an extra 25 HP. Alright, let's do this. Wasp gun gaming. I'm ready. Been a while since I did this fight. I can't wait until I can get rid of this dash. Nice adrenaline. Oh yeah, he's getting destroyed. But I can still die very easily. Oh. Yeah, he does. Oh wow, he does a lot of damage. Even an expert death. Yeah, I gotta be careful. I can recall though, I just don't want to. I don't have to. Oh man, come on dude, really? I can survive like 2 more hits. I'm alright, I think. I'm chilling. Oh yeah, here we go. This shit ended. Nice. Kind of close, but good fight. Nothing too exciting to show with the pillars. I decided to take 3 down and hold the last one until I'm ready for Moonlord. Whenever I break the shield, I place down my Nimbus clouds and then I recall until it's destroyed. Then I go back for the fragments. I also decided to farm the Pumpkin Moon event because why not? And I'd like to get a spooky hook. I might need some of these accessories later on anyway if I decide to go summoner, because I'm locked out of getting the Star Tinted generator, so I might as well get what I need to make the status curse. I decided it's time to fight an old friend because there's a few drops that I really want, but it's time for a class change. I'm going melee, so I make a few post-cultist weapons with the Entropic Claymore and the Daybreak. I also make a few extra accessories to boost my damage. I'm gonna need it. Alright, here we go. Duke time. Should have this easy. We'll see. It's been a while since I did this fight. I think Daybreak is more damage, but I have to aim with it. Oh man, come on dude. Every time I get adrenaline, I lose it. This might just be better. I get homing. Oh, thank you, Dodge. Dodge saved me there. All right, here we go. Phase 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Got adrenaline. Nice. All right, here we go. Final phase. Oh, wow. Yeah, he hits for a lot. Yeah, final phase in Calamity, he just keeps dashing in death mode. Oh, I'm one shot. Come on, dude. Please. Yeah, he just continually dashes. Nice. All right, we got it. Thank you. And unfortunately, I didn't get any of the drops that I wanted, so we have to go again. We're getting a lot better at this now. Besides that hit. And there we go, he's done. Can I get the wings? Nice, I got the wings, let's go. So at a 10% drop chance, Duke Fishron can drop the Briny Baron, which is a very rare melee weapon. I'm not going to continuously farm him, but if I could get it for Moonlord, that would be huge. And by crazy luck, we got it on just our 4th attempt. The left click is a true melee swing that spawns tornadoes, and the right click is essentially just a Razor Blade Typhoon. Alright, last pillar, and then we're ready for Moonlord. No recalling now. Only got one shot at this. I cannot mess this up. Let's do it. Fun fact, even on Calamity Death Mode, this boss is still easier than Vanilla Master Moonlord because he doesn't do the counter laser. You only got to worry about the one Phantasmal Death Ray coming from the eye. And here it comes. Ooh, oh. Okay, I don't know why he teleported like that. Got another adrenaline, let's go. Nice. All right, I only got top eye left and then I got core. And we got an adrenaline coming up. Let's go. Nice. All right, there we go. Core's open. Fishron wings are so good, dude. I'm gonna finish this out with Daybreak for more damage. Nice adrenaline. Oh yeah, he's so close. Yeah, Daybreak's definitely more damage. All right, here we go. All right, it's almost over. Please, bro, just go down. Oh, I got a pot up, nice. GG's. And we pretty much get everything that we could want from the starter bag. I mean, he dropped basically everything. The first thing I do is consume my Celestial Onion for an extra accessory slot. Then I make a new pickaxe so I can go mine some Exodium Cluster and Luminite from the extra planets that spawn after Moonlord. And now time for the most exciting thing in the entire run, the bottomless Shimmer bucket. Shimmer allows progress like we haven't seen before in our one block. The first thing I do is turn my Contaminator into a Terraformer, which allows for even more new biomes. Then I buy some white solution from the Steampunker, which will allow me to make a snow biome. A lot of people don't know this, but if your merchant lives in the jungle, he sells furnaces. You can shimmer these for infinite stone, wood, and torches. This works in vanilla too. So I shimmer my furnaces and all my leftover dynasty wood into normal wood. Crazy, we have stone. We're in the Stone Age. Now that I'm rich, I never have to multiply dirt with dirt bombs again. I can just shimmer stone. Then I shimmer some crispy honey block that I made earlier for fishing potions to turn them into hives so I can make the abomination. With enough happiness, the merchant also sells glass bottles. This can be shimmered into glass and then again into sand. Now my ocean biome will actually be able to spawn ocean mobs. I also shimmered some Exodium Cluster down to Luminite, which can be shimmered yet again to get Scoria, which will allow me to get my second health upgrade of the run. Defeating Queen Bee will allow the Witch Doctor to spawn, which means I'll get a Bewitching table, an Alchemy table, and I'll finally be able to make flasks for the first time in the run. Remember when I said earlier that Hellstone was removed from Brimstone crates? Yeah, so the workaround is that all the extra demon conches and lava-proof fishing hooks that I have, I can shimmer into Hellstone. I finally get around to making armor, so I make a set of solar armor, but I don't have enough fragments for the wings, so I'm gonna have to come back for those. In one block, you're very limited in weapon choices. I have no dungeon, and I'm gate kept out of a lot of bosses, so my weapon choices are very few. So I decided to steer my focus towards fighting some of those bosses that I missed out on early on. Placing sand in my ocean biome will allow Anahita and Leviathan to spawn, so they're the first on my list. I don't know if there's really much I can do with depth cells, but I figure, why not? Bro, I haven't used Meowmere since like the old vanilla days. Goated weapon. W weapon. It's actually doing pretty good. I mean, this is a pre-Moonlord boss. Okay, I have a Meowmere that's hard to aim and a yo-yo. Neither of these are good weapons for this. But the Terrarian does just a lot of damage. I love the Terrarian. Good weapon. And she's down. Nice. I finally get around to finding Astrum Deus so I can get the missing fragments that I needed. Also, having Astral Ore could prove to be useful. This is probably one of my least favorite boss fights in all of Calamity. It's just projectile slop. I really don't enjoy it. And the Meowmere is not a good weapon for this fight. Okay, that was stupid. Alright, there's one. And let me take down the other. Oh. Alright, that's done. 50 hours post Moonlord is crazy. This is the longest hardcore run I've ever had. I figured it was time to finally make a snow biome so I can get Essence of Helium and fight Cryogen so I can get Cryonic Ore. I'm tired of not having a Ram Dash. Plus I need both for Cores of Calamity and Life Alloys anyway. It feels so weird fighting this boss post Moonlord. I usually fight this boss like right after Plantera so I can get the Ornate Shield. Speaking of that, I still need to farm Crystal. Alright, we got Rage, and he's done. After Cryogen's defeated, Cryo Slimes begin to drop Cryonic Ore. Cryonic Bars is the last material I've been waiting on to be able to make Life Alloys, so I'm very excited about this. So finally, after post Moonlord, I can finally get my second health upgrade, the Miracle Fruit. I also finally got around to making those solar wings I've been missing. And then I finally made the Eye of Desolation so that I could fight Calamitous Clone. So the benefit of fighting Calamitous Clone is that 1, I get Ashes of Calamity, which is used to summon Supreme Calamitous, and 2, Ashes of Calamity are used in Cores of Calamity, which is a very much used material later on in the run. You know, I used to really like doing this fight before I started playing Infernum. Infernum's just a much more fun experience with this fight, but it's still nostalgic though. God, I'm horrible at this. Been so long since I did this. All right, he's down. Nice. I'm in desperate need of a weapon upgrade, so I decided to do Empress of Light. Melee is the tankiest class for the foreseeable future, so I want to get the Elemental Shiv. From here on out, weapon upgrades are going to be very minimal because, well, weapons are just hard to come by. A lot of things are locked behind the dungeon, events, or bosses that we just don't have access to in our one block. The Elemental Shiv used to be a very OP weapon before the Bountiful Harvest update. It got a pretty hard nerf, but I think it's still going to be viable for us for Providence and Guardians. This is such a cool boss fight, man. I love this fight. I think I love the Eternity rework the most. All right, she's almost down, and that should do it. Nice. She didn't drop the Starlight the first time, so I had to refight her. Starlight is one of the materials used in Elemental Shiv. We didn't get it the first time, but we got it the second time. Nice. So the time has come. This will be the one and only time you'll see me since the very beginning of the playthrough duplicate ore with the mining set. I need 101 Infernal Suavite to make a Brimstone Crag biome. And yes, it is required to be Supreme Calamitous because I need Brimstone Slag to make the Altar of the Accursed. And Brimstone Slag is dropped from an enemy called Despair Stones. I would highly prefer to keep all the Infernal Suavite that I just spent a long time duplicating, so after farming a good bit of Brimstone Slag, I placed most of it down to make the biome legitimate on its own. Here you go, guys, this is your new home now. Hope you enjoy it. In between Empress of Light and making a Brimstone Crag biome, I set up a crystal farm so that I can have a steady supply of purple haze as well as making my first ram dash of the run. I also get a gelatin crystal, so I decide why not, let's do Queen Slime. It doesn't matter what anybody ever says, Queen Slime will always be a rank 1 boss. So we have to take this seriously, no messing around. Oh, nice dodge. No hit so far. Let's go. All right, we got her. And finally, my first ram dash of the run, the Asgard's Veiler. It only took getting to post Moonlord to be able to craft it. Fighting Brimstone Elemental at this point in the run really doesn't do a whole lot for me, but it's just crazy to think about how far we've come, that we literally started on one block, and we've been able to make a Brimstone Crag biome and even fight this boss in the first place. It just shows how cool Terraria is and how this game has endless possibilities and anything is literally possible. And the fact that we've done this on hardcore nonetheless. Alright, so the time has come where we really get into some challenging boss fights. First, we're going to have to take on Profane Guardians. One of the most challenging things I've had to face so far in the run is my loadout. We've literally been using hard mode accessories for the most part, and that's really not going to change until we get some better accessories that are boss drops, which is later on in the run. It would be pretty cool if I got Warbender of the Sun first try. I mean, we're not using true melee, but if I got Holy Collider from Providence, maybe so. They need to rework this boss fight. It's crazy you go from this to Infernum. How big of a difference it is. I mean, you can still die easily in this fight if you mess around too much. They actually do a decent amount of damage, but we're probably not going to die. Elemental Shiv isn't the best for this fight. This is actually taking like a very long time, but really all I have right now. Nice adrenaline, and they're down. Nice. There's really not a whole lot to do between Guardians and Providence, so we go straight for her. I only have one shot at this boss fight. I really can't mess it up. There's no recalling at this point. If we lose the run. Nice adrenaline. All right, here comes the star attack. As long as you're on the side of her, I feel like it's pretty easy. As long as you're not like top or bottom, the side's pretty easy, I feel like, to dodge. All right, we got our rage. Let's go. All right, we got this. I gotta watch out for those little fireballs. Oh, there's the laser. I forgot about the laser. All right, here's Guardians phase, adrenaline. Are they down? Yes, they're down. Nice. All right, there we go. Cocoon phase with a little whatever these are. All right, we got this. We're looking pretty good. This is very promising. Crazy star attack. Oh yeah, she shoots a lot of stars right here, right before she dies. All right, we got her. She's dead. Nice. Beautiful. Perfect. And thanks to another one of Chief Logan's innovations, it's time to make a sunken sea biome. I'm gonna need sea prisms and prism shards later on for crafting, so I need to do this. Plus I wouldn't mind fishing to be able to get soaring potions. So the tech is that after Anahita and Leviathan have been defeated, you can start to fish up flood tides. And flood tides can be shimmered to get sea remains. Sea remains can be shimmered to get pearl shards, which is typically a desert scourge drop. I can use the alternate recipe that is blood orbs and pearl shards to make Tesla potions. And then Tesla potions can be shimmered to get back the ingredients for the original recipe. One of those is sea prisms. And by now you might have guessed where this is going. Sea prisms can be placed down to make an artificial sunken sea biome. Pretty crazy, right? Now I can farm for weapons and drops that really aren't too much use to me anymore, but I can also fish for soaring potions. With Providence down, Eula Bloom slimes begin to drop ore. It's time for an armor and wing upgrade. I'm still limited as far as my weapons, but the least I could do is upgrade everything else. So the first thing I do is upgrade my pickaxe for the last time in the run. Then I upgrade my Star Veil to the Defiant Amulet, something I forgot to do way earlier on. I make the Badge of Bravery, which is a very good melee accessory, as well as a set of Terragon armor and wings for more much needed survivability. I decided to refarm Providence in the Underworld so that I can get the Elysian Aegis. It's a much needed upgrade for my current Asgard's Veiler, and with my current loadout, this shouldn't be a problem. Oh yeah, we are much stronger now. And a lot more survivability. Much higher defense. And that should do it. Nice. I take her on yet again back in the Hollowed because I really want to get a flamethrower that she drops called the Pristine Fury. A very good weapon. And I guess luck has been with me because on this very same attempt, I get it. I want to be as prepared as possible for Devourer of God, so I decided to do Dragon Foley because I want the Rage upgrade. Every little upgrade moving forward counts. He also drops the Dynamo Stem Cells, which is a range accessory. I've never used it before, but we're very limited in what range accessories we're going to have for Dog. Besides, having a Ram Dash and using Holy Collider makes this fight very easy. I mean, you can still die, but it's much easier. Yep, that's a GG's. Nice. So the next order of agenda is making a cosmic worm, but it's not as simple as you'd think. I need necroplasm, and the only way to get that is from overloaded soldiers which spawn in the underworld. So I have to sit here spamming my Pristine Fury like a Bloom's Ray of Doom waiting for them to spawn. And what happens next is kind of silly. I wanted to get a new weapon for DOG called the 7 Striker, but I need the coin gun. So I decided to start farming pirate invasions. Well, somewhere along the lines I had gotten it without even realizing and continued to farm for I don't even know how long. And after all that farming, I did some off-world testing for weapons and boss practice because I really didn't want to die to this boss. And I came to the conclusion that Pristine Fury was a better weapon anyway. So yeah, I ended up grinding for a long time for a weapon that I didn't even end up using anyway. Anyway, this is my loadout for DOG. It's a very suboptimal loadout because most of these are hard mode accessories. But hey, that's one block for you. This is all I got to work with. Alright, so here we go. I got this. We win these. We win these. Oh wow, yeah, great way to lose adrenaline. Nice. That's lovely. Alright, just gotta lock in. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, well, that's not good. I'm gonna die, bro. Alright, here we go, phase 2. Oh yeah, big damage. Pristine Fury is so good for this fight. This is crazy. I don't even know why I farmed for 7 Striker. Oh yeah, he's getting decimated. Nice adrenaline. Oh, well, not the best, but whatever. Dude, I sunk at the laser wall. Wow. Oh, wow. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is bad. This is really bad. Oh, wow. Okay. Dude, this is stressful. This is so stressful. Nice adrenaline. Just die, bro. Die. Just die, dude, please. Oh, we got it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, that was stressful. I played that fight really bad. Like, really bad. Cosmic Plushie, validate the hardcore run. So I immediately start to look at what's obtainable. I know I'm going Summoner, so I don't waste any time getting Ascended Spirit Essence. So it's time to farm events. I won't go into the boring details, but I had to farm the Frost Moon event, the Pumpkin Moon event, a Solar Eclipse, and I had to get more Necroplasm from Overloaded Soldiers. First, I made the Sponge, with materials that I got from Armored Diggers, although as of the Brainstorm update is no longer an enemy. I can't make a Nucleogenesis, so I decided to make a Dark Sun Ring to go along with my Status Curse. Then I make new wings and armor. The Silva armor will provide me with a second revive to go along with my Nebulous Core. And I forgot to mention that I upgraded my dash to the Asgardian Aegis. I'm using full Mirror Calandra, one staff of Mechworm, Corvid Harbinger staff, which is a Raven staff upgrade, Aya Magnus, and Kaleidoscope. So without further ado, here's Yarn. I probably should have done some practice first, but I didn't. We'll see how it goes. I got 2 revives. I think I'll be alright. It looks like we're doing a pretty good amount of damage, so I think I'm okay. I don't think Yarn's like that hard. I think DOG's harder than Yarn. We'll see. Yeah, I'm pretty strong right now. We're doing pretty well. I just need to avoid the fireballs at all costs and make sure I dash through him when I need to. A lot of people don't like using the full map, the transparent map, but I mean, I don't really care. It's hardcore. You could say it takes away from the cinema, the fight a little bit, but whatever. I want to see where he is. All right, here we go. Yeah, he's getting destroyed. Yeah, I think we're gonna get this. I don't think we're gonna die. Looking pretty good. Mirror Calendar's so good. Yeah, he's already like quarter health. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, we just took a lot of damage. Wow. That was bad. Okay, I gotta lock in. Okay, yeah, we're one shot right now. Did I just burn a revive? I think I just burned a revive. Yeah, I just burned my Nebulous revive. Okay, that's my other revive. Wow, I just burned both revives on him. That's crazy. Thanks to a new Calamity recipe that allows you to craft Auric Ore with Yarn Soul Fragments, I'm able to get my final health upgrade of the run, the Dragon Fruit. Beyond the health upgrade, there's really not a whole lot I can make. Most of the good mage upgrades are locked behind post-planetary dungeon weapons, and there's really no summoner upgrades that are worth making. I could switch to melee or ranger, but I really don't want to lose my second revive. Silva armor is just that good. So at the end of the day, I pretty much ended up sticking with my same exact loadout to fight Scowl. It's honestly crazy how much I've accomplished, and how hard it is to believe that all this came from one singular block. We've come a long, long way from chasing ore slimes in the void, and I'm so glad that I had enough patience to come back and finish this run when we were waiting on a slime rain. Because there's not one part of this run that didn't feel special to me and unique. And it's crazy to think about what's even possible in Terraria. Just look at the biomes that we created. Getting an astral monolith to spawn artificially is just mind-blowing to me, as well as all the other biomes and processes we've had to go through to get to this point, and how meticulous and safe I had to play to not die. But let's get back to the fight at hand. It's not over yet. I should have done more off-stream practice to get myself prepared for this fight. because for whatever reason, when I get back into the hardcore situation, I always throw. It might have been all the visual noise from the projectiles and the summons on screen, but I was playing really bad during this fight. Right now I have both revives down. If I get touched by anything, it's over. And then once I get a revive back up against Vulture, I'm one shot again. I'm really glad I chose Expert Death because I don't think I would have been able to do this in Master Death. But we come away with the win. Thank y'all for everybody who watched to the end. It was a long grind and it was crazy that I pulled this off, but it was so much fun. I appreciate y'all, and please consider subscribing to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. See y'all next time. Thank you.